Napoleon Bonaparte, one of history's most brilliant military strategists and a formidable ruler, reshaped the geopolitical landscape of early 19th century Europe. Born into a modest family on the island of Corsica, just after it became a French territory, his meteoric rise through the ranks of the French military during the tumultuous years of the French Revolution set the stage for a career that would make him a legend. His ambition, coupled with unmatched military prowess and political acumen, propelled him from an artillery officer to the Emperor of the French. Napoleon's legacy, however, is a complex tapestry of military genius, tyrannical rule, enlightened despotism, and profound influence on the legal and administrative frameworks within Europe. Napoleon was born on August 15, 1769, in Ajaccio, Corsica, to Carlo Bonaparte and Letizia Ramolino, whose family had noble Italian ancestry. The Bonaparte family, although of noble Italian lineage, was not wealthy, and Corsica's recent acquisition by France in 1768 meant that Napoleon was born a French citizen. His family's status afforded him greater opportunities than most Corsican children, setting him on a path that would lead him far from his modest beginnings. In 1785, Napoleon, at the age of 16, graduated from the École Militaire in Paris, entering the army as a second lieutenant in an artillery regiment. His early career was marked by a fervent Corsican nationalism, initially fighting for Corsican independence against the French occupation. However, political shifts and personal ambitions led him to realign with France, especially after the outbreak of the French Revolution, which opened the gates to rapid military advancement for talented and ambitious young officers like himself. Napoleon's early military campaigns in the Revolutionary Wars, particularly in Italy, showcased his brilliance in strategy and tactics, setting the foundation for his rise to power. In 1796, Napoleon was appointed to lead the French army against the First Coalition in Italy. At just 26 years old, he demonstrated remarkable military genius, winning multiple victories against the Austrians and their allies. His strategy involved rapid movements and decisive actions that often left his enemies bewildered and defeated. The Treaty of Campo Formio in 1797, which concluded the campaign, marked France's triumph over Austria and increased Napoleon's popularity and political power within France. The French government post-revolution was unstable, with the Directory failing to manage the country's internal and external challenges effectively. Seizing the moment, Napoleon returned from Egypt, where his military campaign had mixed results, and participated in the coup in 1799. This event led to the overthrow of the Directory and established the consulate, with Napoleon as first consul, effectively making him the ruler of France. His leadership during this period was marked by significant reforms in administration, law, notably the Napoleonic Code, education, and infrastructure, laying the foundations for modern French statehood. Under Napoleon's rule, France saw a resurgence of its military and economic strength, setting the stage for his proclamation as Emperor of the French in 1804. This period was characterized by ambitious military campaigns aimed at expanding French influence across Europe and beyond, reflecting Napoleon's vision of a French empire that would rival the ancient Roman Empire. Napoleon's ascent to power was not merely a testament to his military prowess, but also his ability to navigate the complex political landscape of post-revolutionary France. He positioned himself as a stabilizing force, promising order and progress in a country weary of political turmoil and conflict. His reforms during the consulate period endeared him to many, even as his authoritarian rule drew criticism and resistance from others. Through a combination of strategic brilliance, political acumen, and an unmatched capacity for work, Napoleon transformed himself from a Corsican outsider to the undisputed leader of France, setting the stage for an era that would bear his name, the Napoleonic era. The Battle of Austerlitz, fought on December 2, 1805, also known as the Battle of the Three Emperors, is often considered Napoleon's greatest victory. Facing a numerically superior Russian and Austrian force, Napoleon used his keen strategic mind to feign weakness, luring his enemies into a trap. The French army then delivered a crushing blow, decisively defeating the Third Coalition against France. Austerlitz solidified Napoleon's reputation as a military genius and led to the Treaty of Pressburg, significantly expanding the French Empire. Beginning in 1808, the Peninsular War was a major defeat for Napoleon, draining French resources and weakening his grip on power. His decision to install his brother Joseph as the King of Spain met fierce resistance from the Spanish people. Supported by British forces under Sir Arthur Wellesley, the brutal warfare, characterized by guerrilla tactics and widespread popular resistance, led Napoleon to dub it his Spanish Ulcer. This conflict significantly tarnished Napoleon's image as an invincible leader and marked the beginning of the decline of his empire. In 1812, Napoleon embarked on a disastrous campaign to invade Russia, which ended in a catastrophic retreat from Moscow. Despite capturing the Russian capital, the French army was not prepared for the harsh winter and scorched earth tactics employed by the Russians, leading to immense losses. This campaign drastically weakened the French army and shifted the balance of power in Europe against Napoleon, leading to a coalition of European powers rising against him. In October 1813, the Battle of Leipzig, also known as the Battle of the Nations, saw Napoleon facing a coalition of Russian, Prussian, Austrian, and Swedish troops. It was the largest battle in Europe prior to World War I, involving over 500,000 soldiers. Napoleon's defeat marked the decisive turn in the Napoleonic Wars, leading to his abdication and exile to Elba in 1814. The Battle of Waterloo, fought on June 18, 1815, in Belgium, was Napoleon's final defeat. After escaping from Elba and briefly returning to power during the Hundred Days, Napoleon faced a coalition of British-led Allied forces under the Duke of Wellington and a Prussian army commanded by Gebhard Leberecht von Blücher. The defeat at Waterloo ended Napoleon's rule as Emperor of the French and led to his exile to St. Helena, where he spent the rest of his life. These battles and campaigns reflect the brilliance and overreach of Napoleon's military strategies. While his victories showcased his genius, his defeats illustrated the limitations of his ambition and the eventual coalition of European powers that rose to oppose him. Following his defeat in the War of the Sixth Coalition, Napoleon was forced to abdicate the throne in April 1814. The Treaty of Fontainebleau exiled him to Elba, a small Mediterranean island off the coast of Italy, where he was granted sovereignty over the island and allowed a small personal army. Despite his fall from power in France, Napoleon's time on Elba was marked by efforts to reform the island's agricultural and legal systems. However, his attention remained fixed on France and Europe, where the restored Bourbon monarchy struggled to gain popular support. In February 1815, after less than a year in exile, Napoleon escaped Elba and returned to France in a dramatic bid to regain power. Landing in the south of France, he marched towards Paris, gathering support along the way. Remarkably, he reclaimed the throne without a shot being fired, as royalist troops defected to his side. This period, known as the Hundred Days, ended with his defeat at the Battle of Waterloo in June 1815. After Waterloo, the Allies exiled Napoleon to St. Helena, a remote island in the South Atlantic Ocean, to ensure he could no longer influence European politics. Guarded by British forces, Napoleon spent the last 6 years of his life there, dictated his memoirs, and engaged in debates with his small circle of followers and the British governor. His health gradually deteriorated, and he died on May 5, 1821, at the age of 51. The cause of his death was officially reported as stomach cancer, though some theories suggest he may have been poisoned with arsenic. Napoleon's remains were returned to France in 1840 and entombed at Les Invalides in Paris, in accordance with his wishes to be buried on the banks of the Seine, among the French people I have loved so much. Napoleon's exile and death on St. Helena were a somber coda to the life of a man who had dominated the European stage for over 2 decades. In the isolation of St. Helena, Far from the battlefields and courts of Europe, the once all-powerful emperor reflected on his life, legacy, and the rise and fall of his empire. His death marked the end of an era, but the beginning of a legend that continues to fascinate the world. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, feel free to leave a like or subscribe. See you next time.